Now, I would like to share some tips on essay preparation. What was my strategy on essay? First of all, I would like to thank Mohan sir because he guided me well to prepare for essays, especially essays. In essays, my focus was always on building a particular theme. An essay is always a statement and we have to justify both the dimensions. If it's an interrogative essay, then it usually asks whether this is possible or not. Then we should answer it in a balanced manner. We should show as many sides, as many dimensions to the essay topic as possible. Also, in essays, mere writing of facts is not important. What is important is that you have to justify whatever fact, whatever claim you are making. That is the most important part of essay. Because if you quote some facts from some magazine or some book, then you are not adding any value. You are not adding any opinion from your side. And essay is all about your opinions. It doesn't matter if there are some universal facts and if you quote it, if you write it, but you do not write an opinion around those facts, then your essay will lose its strength. So to justify, the purpose of essay is to justify whatever claims you are making. The proper justification of these claims comes through examples, through current affairs, whatever issues are going on, and then you can link it with history, with other countries. I always used to give examples from different areas. For example, some examples were from ancient India, some from pre-independence India during the time of freedom struggle. I incorporated some examples from international affairs. For example, I wrote an essay this year on the education system, on the classrooms, the importance of classroom for a nation. So in this essay, I compared Indian classrooms with the classrooms in Japan, with classrooms in Finland. So this gives a perspective to the examiner that yes, this student knows what kind of education systems are operating in different countries. Now, how one should prepare for essay? What is the right way, right strategy to prepare for it? Number one, there is nothing extra that you need to read for it. If you are good with your general studies portion, then you don't need to read anything specific for the essay part. The most important thing is to develop your essay writing skill. How can you develop that? Number one, by reading different articles, reading newspapers, magazines like Yojana, Kurukshetra. Some very brilliant essays and articles are written by great scholars in such magazines. If you read the Hindu editorials, daily editorials from the Indian Express, then you will find in your subconscious, you will develop that way of writing, the way of good writing. And the second thing to develop that writing skill is practicing. In 2017 attempt, I wrote around 10 essay tests. That means 20 essays. If you write 20 essays, then you'll automatically develop a good essay writing skill, and that will help you a lot in the examination. Now, a common mistake that students make is they do not manage their time in the essay test. There are 2 essays. Usually students take a lot more time in their first essay. They take up to 2 hours and they give only 1 hour to the second essay. So this is a thing that must be avoided by all the students. Both essays should get equal weightage. You can take 10 or 15 minutes to decide which essay you will be picking up out of the choices given in the essay paper. And you should be able to wrap up your first essay within 1 hour 45 minutes. The second essay do need at least 1 hour 15 minutes. So just make sure of that. Also, if you practice a lot of papers, then practice the entire essay test. Do not practice one essay on the go. So if you practice both the essays together in a 3-hour time framework, then you will be able to manage your time in the essay tests, in the final mains essay test properly. Now, what specific you can prepare for essays? For example, I prepared some datas because I mentioned that if you objectively want to justify your claims, then if you have a lot of examples, if you have a lot of data, then it can add value to your points. So for example, I divided my essay topics into 6 or 7 buckets. I'll mention some of these. One is economy and development. Second is essays on polity. Third, essays on science and technology. Fourth, essays on philosophical topics. Fifth, essays based on environment and development related topics. Sixth is security related issues. These are also asked in essays. So these are the 6 or 7 key themes that are asked. Along with this, some society related themes are also asked. For example, you can have an essay on education or healthcare or any social ill that is going in the Indian society. Now for each of these themes, I prepared certain data points and certain research studies. Data points like, for example, if you are preparing for women, then prepare data points on all the perspectives like social, economic, political. So in economic, I used to write this point. I prepared some points. For example, I used to write glass ceiling effect. This is a good word that you can use for economic empowerment of women, or economic factor that restricts women to grow. Then some data points like 24% LFPR. Women only have 24% participation in the labor force in India. Now this is again a data point. Similarly, in the social sphere, you can prepare some data on the crime that is going on, the crime rate that is going on in different states. So if you have these data in hand, then you will be able to justify your claims properly. Similarly, I also collected some research studies. For example, you can collect Pratham research study for education system. If you quote this research study, if you quote the data from this survey or research study in the examination, then again your essay has that objectivity, which is a must to justify your claims.